Sarah's presentation this morning, and her opening comments I thought were so incredibly appropriate for all of us, that wherever we might be in terms of technology is not where your future students are going to be. They are going to be light years ahead of where we are sitting here today. So if you're a senior right now, you want to get a job next fall, your students will be more advanced than you are this month. And if you are a first-year student, I don't know what 4 years will be like. But it will not be like what we do today. My phone is terrible. Okay? This is it. I do not have a smartphone yet. My kids have smartphones and they're like, Dad, you are nuts. You can't do anything with that. Yes, I can. I can make phone calls and I can text poorly. Because I don't spell incredibly accurate because my eyes don't see that little keyboard. And my daughter, who's a junior in high school, sends me these, LOL kind of text messages. And I'm like, no, you have to spell things out because BTW doesn't mean a thing to me. I'm thinking black and white TV. No, Dad, by the way. Okay, some of those I get. But she is so much more advanced than I am. When my computer crashes, Jill, she comes up. There, Dad, don't touch it. Like, no. Show me what you did. You need to teach me. My students at Loris teach me as much as I teach them. My high school students taught me as much or more than I taught them. My kindergarten, general music kids could teach me a thing or two. And I know that in the womb, these kids are developing thumbs like I've never imagined. They're way above where we're at. So what I show you today will be the latest, greatest. That doesn't mean at Midwest in December they won't release a new edition of Smart Music that's even a little bit better. And a shout out to my Minnesota people. Where are you? My Mankato people, thank you. Okay, say hello to your staff. Claire Horst is doing her master's there in piano. And she was a graduate of Loris a couple years ago. She's playing piano for my daughter's wedding at the end of November. So my heart still goes out to Minnesota. I spent 24 years out in Glen, which is straight north of Mankato, 50 miles north of Mankato. Okay? But I'm glad you're here. What is Smart Music? Smart Music is a toy. It is a game. Okay? It is Guitar Hero for band, orchestra, and chorus. It is pedagogy for us on the education side. But as Sarah and I were chatting right before you guys came in, we're talking about flipping the classroom. I don't need to stand here all the time. Sometimes I need to be back here saying, can you get off of Facebook? Okay? I know you're not on Facebook. Okay? But in my ensemble, my percussion section that's back there, high school percussionists that are still looking for the woodblock that we needed 3 songs ago, sometimes I need to walk back there. And I need to get them on task. And if they hide their iPhones in their hoodie, I can see that they're texting. They make sense without looking at the keyboard, which frustrates the daylights out of me. But they do. And so we as educators and future educators have to embrace technology or we will be left behind. My technology, I got out of, by the way, I'm a St. Olaf College graduate, and Luther people, man, we have some great rivalries back in. I think we still do. I walked out of St. Olaf, and my technology was the Strobocon tuner. Any of you remember that one? The dial spun. As collegiate, good players, we couldn't make those dials stop. First of all, we had to figure out that the A sharp was B flat. Okay? And it's like, well, it keeps turning. How come, I don't know if I'm in tune or not with that thing. And that was my technology. I had a 33 record player. Okay? My students today, maybe some of you, never seen vinyl before. You maybe thought they were Frisbees. Go back before that, the 45s, and before that, yes, my first car, 72, okay? 8-track. Wonderful things. I still have a couple dozen 8-tracks in my closet. I think they're going to be collector's items and I'm going to get big bucks for them. CDs are obsolete. I've got hundreds of CDs in my office. I don't know the last time I got one out. Because I do what you do. I go to YouTube. Stravinsky, Rite of Spring. I've got 25,000 recordings of it. Why do I need to go get one? I loved also when you talked about being able to compare 5 recordings at the same time. Well, which one is most authentic? Is it the J.W. Pepper freebie that you get? Well, Ed Peterson does a great job with the Washington Winds, but there are an awful lot of great recordings out there. So, the more we embrace technology, the more we use it, becomes our friends, we have an immediate connection with our students. Smart music. Okay? What is it? Interactive software. Guitar Hero, like I said. Transforms the way students practice. Okay? Thousands of accompaniments, constantly growing. And instead of practicing alone, I was a trombone player in high school. I'd take my trombone home once a month, maybe. I'd sit down on my bed, Indian style, music on the floor or on the bed. First of all, I had to unroll it out of the bell of my trombone. Okay? And then I tried to practice. And I practiced 3 notes, and what was my impression of the song? You can say the word. That sucks. I played 3 notes of John Philip Sousa's Stars and Stripes Forever. Da, da, da. Ugh, I hate this piece. That was it. I never had anything to practice with. My dad was a great church musician, wonderful organist. He could play my part on the piano for me, but I had no context. So, all the accompaniments that go along with practicing. And you know what? I could go through this whole PowerPoint for you and talk about all this, but I think instead of that, I'm just going to get right into it. Okay? So Smart Music kind of looks like this. This is my home page. The most important button on the side says Find Music. Okay? Here are the 6 categories of music that we can work with. Solos, 7,500 plus. From Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter and Michael Jackson to the most advanced concerto that you might want to play. Everything. Something for everybody. All with interactive accompaniment. Imagine having your own piano player in your dorm room telling them, I need to take those 8 measures a little slower. You have to wait for me at measure 42.5 because I have to take a breath. Put in a breath mark. I need to go at 92 instead of 84 when we hit rehearsal B. Program all of that in. You have a great piano player sitting there with you all the time. You get to your lesson where your accompanist is at your lesson and all of a sudden they're like, oh, I can follow you. Thank you for those instructions. You can make that recording and send it to your accompanist, and all of a sudden they know exactly what you sound like and what you need to do for that solo. Customize it any way you want to. Exercises. We've all grown up singing and playing exercises. We all hate scales. But we all know as teachers that we have to teach scales. Every one of us has to teach all the major, all the minor, chromatic scales, because when they take out a piece of music, what's on that page? Scales. Scales, thirds, fourths, arpeggios, all kinds of things. They're right there, so we have to teach them. Method books. It used to be 3 or 4 method books. Maybe you get into a job and you're told you're going to use essential elements. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. Smart Music is going to give you 59 method books to choose from. Okay? You don't have to be locked into one method. Explore all of them. Jazz improvisation for your budding jazz players. All of Winton's recordings. All of the Aebersold that I had to put on the record player with all the cracks and pops. Slow it down, speed it up, change the keys. Any way you can think of manipulating a recording or a piece of music you can do easily. Concert, jazz band, string, and full orchestra. About 3,300 titles now. It is your library. You're going to get out and you're going to get your first job and you're going to be told, oh, the 7th grade and 8th grade bands have a concert October 12th. And it's September 2nd. And you have 6 weeks to get them ready. And you're going to call everyone you know and say, what should I make them play? They're going to give you some titles and you're going to go, huh? Maybe you are an expert on the literature. I certainly wasn't. But Smart Music has thrown 3,300 titles into the program. Sight reading exercises. We all know that sight reading is important. Everything I show you today can be pinned, which here I'm thinking these pins on the wall, Okay, when someone first told me to pin something on the computer, I was lost. It's like, what do you mean pin it? Look, there's an icon that looks like a pin. Oh, thank you, now I know what you're talking about. Pinterest. I thought it was great when you mentioned Pinterest. My daughter is getting married in November. She's a Pinterest fanatic. Every recipe she sends me, because she and I love cooking together. Every recipe she sends, oh Dad, I found it on Pinterest. Just go to Pinterest and type in apple spice cake, and it'll be there for you. Okay? Great sites. So that whole pinning is new to me. I'm going to treat you like a group of 7th graders for a little while. You've walked into 7th grade ensemble. I don't care if it's 7th grade choir, band, or orchestra. And first of all, you're all rowdy. Okay, 7th graders, the hormones are raging. Okay? But I need you to pay attention to, we're having a lot of trouble rhythmically. Our rhythm in that piece is a disaster. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the exercise in the middle, and I'm going to slide over to where it says rhythms. Brings up one very basic 5th grade rhythm. But up at the top, there's a drop-down menu that gives me 5 other categories. So I'm going to choose Simple Time 2, Pattern 24, and instead of having a melodic exercise, I'm going to put on the clap setting. Okay? I know that we're in 3/4 time, and the piece we're doing, Anne McGinty's All the Pretty Little Horses. Right? Great piece. They're not getting this tie or this dotted note, and they're certainly not getting that tie correctly. So if you would please clap for me, and I would like you really to clap like 7th graders. Okay? Don't clap like the wonderful college students that you are. Where it says click right here, I'm going to give you a voice count off, because lots of us start our ensembles that way. So they built that in for us. Okay?
1, set, go.
You sounded just like 7th graders. Thank you. Now look at that. As a class, you got 97%. Believe me, the trombones in the back, they're thrilled. Okay? As a class, it says you got 97%. And my students were all over that. They're like, see, we do know our rhythms. Yeah. Look, see all those red notes? I'm going to take 1 point away for every red note. So there've got to be 50 up there. You got 47%. Now my overachieving flute player, she sits right here. She's now mad and crying. I can't get a 47. I can't get an effing band. But our ensemble did. And at a concert, people don't hear you. They hear all of us. So it's not good enough for the section leaders to get it right. Everyone has to get it right. You say, well, did it really sound that bad? Beauty of smart music is everything we do is recorded. We don't have to hit record, stop, anything like that. It's automatically done, so now we'll just listen.
1, set, go.
It really was that bad. Okay? So now if you would...
1, set, go.
Sorry. It is very voice sensitive. Okay? But if you'd humor me and clap it correctly. But, do we have a click when we're playing? No, there's no click going on, so I'm going to turn that off. Do I have a cursor when I'm playing my music? No, so I'm going to turn that off. Now there is a caveat there, because they do have us. We are the cursor. Now whether or not they ever look up, okay, is another story. But we are the cursor. So when some directors say to me, we should never allow them to use the cursor. I'm like, I understand what you mean, but don't they always have you to give them the beat? I think, oh, I guess. So I'm going to leave the cursor on, but turn the click off. And all I have to do that is just click it. So now the yellow coloring is gone. It'll still give you the count off.
One.